Hey, son, you want to toss the football?
Yes, sir, Dad.
All right here. Let's go. Wait a second. Go get the stuff.
The stuff?
The stuff.
Yes, sir.
Son, you ready?
Yeah.
Bye-bye, Eagles.
You don't want none! You don't want none!
What's going on, Tar Heel Nation? It is your favorite North Carolinian, Russ, the Tar Heel, and it's game week again, baby. Week 3, and the 1-1 North Carolina Central Eagles out of the Mid-Eastern Athletic Conference will be visiting Chapel Hill to take on my 2-0 North Carolina Tar Heels. Shout out to my wife, man, Mrs. Tara Hill, who stood out there like a soldier, man, and helped me and little Russ film that little skit, dude. We did not plan for it to rain, but it rained. And that's how it is down here, bro. It just comes and it stays for an extended period of time. And old Mrs. Tara, dude, coming in the clutch, man. So y'all make sure y'all give her some love down in the comment section for soldiering through for the Tar Heel huddle, man. I pay her in love. I pay her in love, man. But before we jump into the preview and prediction show, do me a favor, man. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel every week for the duration of the football season. The Tar Heel Huddle will bring you the weekly preview and prediction show and the ACC football picks. This Friday night, bro, we've got the weekly call-in show, September 13th at 9 p.m., 2100 for all you military dudes. You can call in. We'll talk to some people about some Carolina football, and I promise that we will this time. Last week, we just had a really special guest. If you haven't watched Connor Harrell's dad come on the show and the conversation that we had, it was fantastic. Make sure you go check that out in the Charlotte call-in show. But I promise we'll talk some Carolina football this time, man. And the pod just increased to $150 because UNC's second-team defense couldn't hold the stinking 49ers at bay, which I would have won last week. But anyway, there's no gimmicks. You just call into the show, you predict the correct score, and I send you money. Sounds like a pretty good deal. But I'm feeling pretty good today, man. I'm feeling pretty sprucey. I'm tired, but I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good, man. I'm feeling good about this week. Anyway, Saturday, September 14th at 5:50 p.m. We'll be live for the live reaction and watch party, man. We've been getting excellent participation in these things, and I can't thank you guys enough. Minnesota averaged about 55 viewers, and then the last hour of that game, like the whole hour, dude, we were like hovering around 140, 150. And obviously, a ton of people are in there because they're waiting for Minnesota to beat Carolina, which didn't happen, and they were just probably licking their chops to get in there on the keyboard so they could talk crap. We had to wait a couple more weeks, buddy, but we had a good time in there, man. And then Charlotte, I think we had a peak of about 50, and we averaged about 34, man. But it's awesome, bro. 34 people coming in there to hang out and watch some stinking Carolina football. That's what this channel's about. It's about bringing Tar Heels together, especially on Saturday, but we like to chill and hang out during the week as well, man. I always love hanging out with the guys, watching the stinking Heels, man. So make sure you come to the party on Saturday. And now that we got all the admin stuff taken care of, let's go ahead and jump into this thing. The North Carolina Central Eagles visit Kenan Stadium in the first ever matchup between these two programs. North Carolina Central brings their 1-1 record that includes a 31-24 win over Alabama State and a 41-19 loss to Elon. This will be North Carolina Central's first away game of the season. Now, interesting facts about North Carolina Central. The Eagles school colors are maroon and gray, and they're considered an HBCU that won the national championship at the FCS level in 2022. That's what their claim is. North Carolina Central is led by head coach Trey Oliver, who's in his 4th season at the school, and he has a record of 29-18. Now, the 6'1", 195-pound junior quarterback Walker Harris has thrown for 300 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions through 2 football games. Mr. Walker had a rough game against Elon, going 16 for 24 for 181 yards with 1 touchdown and 3 interceptions. So you know this kid is going to be looking for a bounce-back game. Their leading rusher is 5'11", 200-pound running back Jamari Taylor, who's rushed for 182 yards on 38 carries, which is good for a 4.8 yard per carry average and 3 touchdowns. The leading receiver for the Eagles is 6'4", 195-pound senior Joaquin Davis, who has 7 receptions for 164 yards and a touchdown on the season. Now, the North Carolina Tar Heels come in with an unblemished 2-0 record after a hard-fought win at Minnesota 19-17 and a solid home opening defeat of the Charlotte 49ers 38-20. 6'2", 210-pound redshirt sophomore quarterback Connor Harrell is coming off a successful debut as QB1, where he went 16 for 25, 219 yards, and 3 total touchdowns, 2 through the air, 1 on the ground, to 1 interception. Now, Connor also ran the ball 9 times for 39 yards. Carolina's leading rusher is the All-American junior running back Omarion Hampton, who has rushed for 206 yards on 41 carries, good for a 5 yards per carry average. He got banged up a little in the Charlotte game, and he did not play the second half. And North Carolina's leading receiver is 6'2", 210-pound senior wide receiver J.J. Jones, who has 5 receptions for 83 yards. Now let's look at the team stats leading up to this contest. Total offense, North Carolina Central averages 306 yards a football game. University of North Carolina is averaging 371 yards a football game. Total defense, North Carolina Central, 360 a game. The UNC defense is only allowing 301 yards per game right now, which is excellent. Points per game, North Carolina Central is averaging 25. UNC is averaging 28.5. Allowed points per game, North Carolina Central is averaging 32.5, giving up. UNC is averaging 18.5 points per game. So now that we've looked at the tail of the tape, let's have a look at Russ's 3 keys to victory for each team, starting with the North Carolina Central Eagles. Key number 1, North Carolina Central has got to establish the run. UNC has done an extremely good job of containing the run in their first 2 football games, averaging giving up only 79 yards in the Minnesota game and 49 yards respectively in each contest. But if the Eagles can't consistently pick up 3 to 4 yards in their ground game, it's going to be a long day for that offense, as it's not necessarily built to sling the ball around the field. Key number 2, quick passing game. One of the areas that these lower-level FCS teams struggle in the most is the lack of size in the trenches. Jahvaree Ritzie has totaled 5 sacks in his first 2 football games this year, and he will be ready to eat against the Eagles. Don't expect much time for Walker to drop back. That means you better get the ball out quick to the outside with screens and shorter routes, and when they aren't running the football, they better be getting that thing out there real quick, because you know that Des Evans, Jahvaree Ritzie, Bo Atkinson, these guys are going to be pinning their ears back and trying to come at Walker in this game. And key number 3, you better get in your prayer closet. Simple fact of the matter is, this opponent does not come into Kenan Stadium and get a W. That's not being cocky. That's confident and the product on the field. The only one that can change that in this football game is God himself. So tons of Bible study and team prayer meetings in the week leading up to this football game. Now, I'm not saying that to be condescending or, there's a little tongue-in-cheek there. Obviously, on any given Saturday. But like I said, there's a reason why we're going to see that ESPN matchup indicator gives North Carolina a 99% chance to win. Okay? It's almost impossible for the Eagles to come and in North Carolina and win this football game. And neither should they. It would be absolutely ridiculous for that to transpire. So, not trying to be condescending. I'm just saying there's only so much that you can do from the FCS level where in North Carolina Central is. And then you're talking about North Carolina, a legitimate Division I football program. You got to get into the prayer closet, man. And now the keys to victory for North Carolina. Key number 1, downhill, bro. Once again, the trenches are the difference in games like this. They just don't grow 6'8", 350-pound offensive linemen on trees. They just don't grow 6'5", 325 defensive tackles on trees. Even without Omari and Hampton and Darwin Barlow, North Carolina should be able to consistently get David Gauss downhill along with Charleston French and Caleb Hood to win this football game, man. Give the Rock the bullet. He had, 16 carries for 105 yards and a touchdown last game? Hey, man, let him eat if you want to rest up the other guys. Key number 2, growth for Connor. With the understanding that it's going to take an act of God in order for the Heels to drop this one to the Eagles, we need to get an early lead and continue to get Connor repetitions throwing the football around. This would include Chip Lindsey getting comfortable with what Connor is comfortable with. The next week, there's a sizable jump in competition with James Madison coming in. So whatever kinks you need to work out, man, they need to be worked out in this game. Let's find out what Connor does well, and let's start to build around that. At key number 3, you got to get an early lead, man. Go ahead and let these guys know what the deal is. You came here for the paycheck. We appreciate the practice. You get a lead. You get the starters about 3/4 of football, and then you literally put the entire second team to let them get some work. It's that simple. This is a game where everybody's thinking plays, especially towards the end of the game. And now for one of the most exciting parts of the show, the moment of truth, the Russ the Tar Heel score prediction. Now, I've just been just outside the bullseye, it seems like, in these first 2 games. So I'm really interested in how I can stick this one, okay? And there's a couple of reasons why I went with the score that I went. I guess that's kind of, a ridiculous, redundant statement. But anyway, games like this come down to a simple variable 99.9% of the time. And it's going to go back to something I said earlier. It's the trenches, bro. The simple fact of the matter is North Carolina is bigger, faster, and stronger at the lines of scrimmage. And though North Carolina Central will likely play with a lot of passion and pride, it will not be enough to overcome the Heels' talent in the trenches. Connor Harrell will improve upon his Charlotte start as he settles into the position as QB1 for the Heels. Look, my guy is already prepared for game day. He's already gotten treatment. He's already gone through the ins and outs of preparing for an opponent and working through things, as the game progresses. These are learning moments for Connor. So every time he does this, there's going to be more and more growth. He's going to get more and more comfortable. And the defense will be overbearing against that Eagles offense. The talent gap is just going to be too much, man. My final score prediction for the North Carolina Central North Carolina game is 45-10. North Carolina. The ones will play 3/4 of football, and North Carolina Central will score a late touchdown against the twos. I legitimately don't see any way or rhyme or reason why North Carolina Central, when I look at their tape, should be scoring touchdowns against the University of North Carolina, 1s versus 1s. So, that's just where I'm at. 45-10 UNC. It shows a little bit of an increase in offense, and it shows, what we should be doing against inferior competition. I would say 10 points or less. So you let me know, Eagle and Tar Heel Nation, what you think about my score prediction. Is your boy onto something, or am I sitting up there in the nosebleeds on this one? Comment down in the comment section what you think about this football game. And once again, I want you to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And we'll catch you on the next one, Tar Heel Nation.